Hey everybody, it's Mr. Isaacs here. Again, we are on our snow day, so just trying to get some notes in for you guys. But we are going into our last body system that we're going to study, probably the most complicated. So make sure to stay with me, but we're not going to go too crazy with making you understand the immune system because it is pretty intense. All right, pretty intense. So the immune system is all about protecting our body. That is the function of the immune system. That is the number one thing that you need to know. It is the defense mechanism against all those little microscopic things, those bacteria, those viruses, okay, from getting in our bodies and taking advantage of us. All right, so this is the system that is going to be our shield, going to be the way that we protect ourselves. Okay, so it is defending the body from viruses, bacteria, fungi, and other foreign disease-causing agents. Okay, so a disease is going to be anything that's going to cause you harm. It does this by recognizing and responding to antigens. Okay, this underlined word is the only word you need to know. Okay, which is a foreign substance that causes an immune response. Okay, antigens are basically just going to be proteins on the surface of these viruses and bacteria that are going to signal basically that they're bad. Okay, our body's going to recognize them and it's going to say, "Ooh, we don't want you, and we're going to get rid of you." Okay, and so we're going to talk about kind of that method that our body's going to use to get rid of it, and then we'll also what happens when things don't go as planned. Okay, when things don't work as we would like them to. Okay, so pathogen, virus versus bacteria. Okay, something that you really need to know. Okay, viruses are teeny tiny. Okay, this virus right here is a bacteriophage. Okay, it's a type of virus that is super small and it only attacks bacteria. These little things in the photo, it's not a real photo in the image, okay, are bacteria. Bacteria are tiny compared to our cells. Okay, our cells are really, really big in comparison because we are eukaryotic. We have a nucleus. Bacteria don't have a nucleus. They're not very complex. They're very, very simple. So they're tiny. Viruses only have a little bit of DNA, and that's pretty much it. A way to protect the DNA and a way to inject it. That's all viruses are. And so these viruses are even smaller. They are so small. I cannot reiterate that enough, that viruses are way smaller than bacteria, typically. Okay, so as you can see, they're really small. So bacteria are living prokaryotic organisms. Pro means no. Nucleus, they're 1/100th the size of a human cell. Okay, so to piggyback on that, they're 1/100th the size of a human cell. That means they're tiny. Okay, these are like another 1/100th or 1,000th of a bacteria cell. So you can see how they're so small. Okay, so just keep that in mind, and let's keep going. Okay, how does the immune system protect you? Okay, well, it's going to create a barrier that prevents pathogens from ever entering your body. Okay, so kind of like our skin prevents things from entering our body, we're going to do the same. Okay, that's going to be stuff within our nose. Okay, mucus to make sure that things that shouldn't be there don't get into our body. Okay, that's earwax. That's going to be all kinds of little methods that our body uses. Okay, our digestive system is going to make sure all of our food goes through our stomach, which has stomach acid, which is going to kill a lot of the bad things that we get. Okay, if a bacteria or a virus does get into the body, so it does get into the bloodstream, does get into our tissue within our body, okay, the immune system is going to detect and eliminate it before it can reproduce. Okay, and so that is really, that's when we get to figuring out what is a problem, killing it. Okay, getting rid of it. Okay, if a virus or bacteria is able to reproduce and start causing problems, this is actually when you're going to feel symptoms. Okay, both of these, if these two work, you don't get sick. Okay, but if a virus or bacteria actually starts to cause problems, your immune system is in charge of eliminating it. So the process of actually fighting that infection. Okay, remember, bacteria and viruses, they're just trying to live too. Okay, they're just trying to reproduce and live and do their own life, do their own thing. And so the issue is they don't really care about us at all. And so they're going to take advantage of us as we go. Okay, this is a dissection of a pig, by the way. Okay, you can see the heart of the pig. The lungs are on either side. Okay, that's the other part of the lung. And then the thymus gland, it's this tiny little thing behind the heart. Okay, but we're going to talk a little bit more about that as we go. So what are some different structures within our immune system that we need to know about? Well, our lymph organs, so our lymph nodes, okay, white blood cells, and antibodies. Those are the three that you're going to be responsible for understanding what the heck are these things. Okay, so the lymph lymphatic system. Okay, as you can see, we're going to have our thymus up kind of in our throat, upper chest region, and then we're going to have our spleen as well, which is going to be on the back of your, just on your back on your left side. Okay, and then we're going to have a lot of lymph nodes around your armpits, up by our neck, okay, up in here. All right, and then we're going to have another region right around our thighs. You can see the reason for this is because these are filters, okay? We have over 600 lymph nodes, okay? And what they do is they're little round bean-shaped bumps that we usually can't feel unless they become swollen. They only become swollen when they detect something that's going on, okay? They're tiny filters, similar to your kidneys, except for they're everywhere because it's like an alarm system. It's trying to decide, do we have anything wrong with us? Do we have a disease in our body? Okay. And so these lymph nodes usually are really, really small, but when they're big, they swell up, which means that they have detected something in the body that is not very good. It has caught some bad bacteria, it has caught some viruses, and you're probably about to get sick. Hopefully not, but that's one thing that doctors will check. They'll check right underneath your throat at the back of your jaw, and then also check either like around your armpits or in your groin in some cases. Okay, but they're tiny filters. So lymph system is a filter system. You just got to remember that. Lymph system, filter system. They're going to detect and kill pathogens. Okay, they also produce substances that help kill pathogens. So they're going to also not only catch them, but kill them as well. Okay, the lymph organ, the thymus. Okay, the thymus is located in our chest between our lungs. Okay, the sternum and the heart. Okay, sternum's the center of your rib cage. Okay, your lungs. So it's in between, right behind the sternum, right between your lungs, but below your throat. Okay, it is responsible for producing T cells. T cells are a type of white blood cell. T cells are super important. White blood cells are going to be traveling in our blood, and they're going to be able to kill things, bad things that they find within the blood. Okay, different bacteria and viruses. Okay, so the thymus, we're still in the lymph organs. Okay, that's going to be producing T cells. Okay, lymph organ spleen. Okay, so we're talking about the spleen. Okay, it's a purple organ under the diaphragm. It's about 4 inches long. The spleen filters blood looking for foreign invaders and older blood cells that are in need of replacement. The reason they're looking for older blood cells is because older blood cells have a higher chance of having cancer. And so they want to get rid of those cancerous cells. Cancer just means that those blood cells reproduce or basically they just cause problems or they're not very efficient. So it's just better to get new ones in there. Okay, white blood cells. Okay, these guys are actually going to go around and eat the bad stuff. Okay, as you can see, this is a type of white blood cell that found a yeast cell or something in the body that it doesn't think should be there. And so this white blood cell, this phagocyte, is going to extend its bodies around it and then digest it and kill it. Okay, white blood cells are produced in the bone marrow. Okay, phagocytes are going to be the ones that are going to eat the viruses, the bacteria. They're going to actually wind up killing them. Okay. Let's keep on going. Okay. Antibodies are probably my favorite. They are like the heat-seeking missile defense system. And so what's going to happen is antibodies are produced by white blood cells. Okay. They are Y-shaped proteins that respond to a specific antigen. Remember, the antigen see these little things on this bacteria. Okay. These are antigens. These are little proteins that stick out. They're unique, kind of like your thumbprint. Okay. Each bacteria has a specific antigen. These antibodies remember what bacteria we're looking at. All right. And because the way they remember it is because this shape perfectly fits the antigen on the body of the bacteria or the virus. So it's able to latch onto them and basically stop them in their tracks. Because if none of these protruding bodies of the bacteria are there, they can't do anything. They can't latch, they can't reproduce, they can't do anything. So the antibodies are going to latch onto all these proteins on the surface of the bacteria and basically halt it where it's at, or send signals, chemical signals, to those phagocytes so they can eat this thing. So they basically catch it, stop it, and kill it. All right, which is really, really cool. So antibodies bind to the bacteria. Okay, when the antibody binds, It's going to basically stop it in its tracks, stop their movement through their cell membrane, or they can rip the cell membrane apart as well. So antibodies are super, super cool in that way. Okay. Last thing, we got to just understand how the immune system works with other body systems, because it is a very, very important thing to keep us healthy. The goal of our body is to keep us alive. And so all the body systems are going to act in some way. So integumentary system, you got to think of the skin. Is it one of the initial barriers? The respiratory system. Okay, we got a bunch of cilia and mucus in our in our nose and cilia in our throat to prevent bad things from entering where they shouldn't go, especially in our throat. In our windpipe, we don't want anything in there. Okay, digestive system has stomach acid, which is going to kill things before they can actually reach our small intestines, where we actually absorb things into the body. If we can prevent it, kill it before it gets to the absorption part, we're actually going to do just fine. Okay, and then the lymphic system is a network of tubes that is going to filter our blood and also destroy different pathogens or foreign invaders in our body. Okay. Remember, hormones are going to affect our body in certain ways and send chemical messages. Okay, so cortisol, the stress hormone, is going to tell your immune system to stop fighting infections. The reason being, we don't want to waste energy on fighting infections, because right now there's a predator or something that we actually need to use all of our energy to run away from or fight in order to survive. Okay, the immune system through the body is thought of as a long-term protection system, whereas immediately avoiding a car or a bear or a lion, whatever it may be, is going to be more prominent. But remember, whenever we get stressed out, we stop fighting infections. So if you're just stressed out because of a test or because your mom yelled at you or something like that, cortisol is going to be produced and your infection is going to, your immune system isn't going to work as well. So you got to keep that in mind. Okay. We got to stay healthy. Ways that we can lower this is by getting more sleep and making sure that we get enough nutrients as well. Okay. And also working out will also help you as well with your immune system. So keep that in mind. Okay. We got to have a nice balance. Types of immunity. This is one more thing that we should remember. Okay. And you will be tested on. Natural immunity is the immunity that, is present in an individual at birth prior to exposure to anything. So before you're born, you're not exposed to any of these viruses or pathogens. And so you get this from your mother. She's going to give you basically some type of immunity that you're born with, and then you're going to have acquired immunity. So you can do this in active and passive ways. Active means you go out and get it, and passive means you sit back and you receive it. Okay. And so active immunity is going to be you just experiencing the world. Your immune system in response to the presence of an antigen. You're going to build up antibodies that remember certain things, okay, remember different bacteria so that you can actually protect yourself against it. And so your immune system basically is learning throughout your life and getting better and better and better until you reach a certain point where you start to age and your immune system doesn't work as well. But as long as you take care of yourself, the active immunity is going to grow and get better and better and better. Passive immunity is short term. Okay. That's when we actually get antibodies from another person or animal. Okay. So that means someone else produced it or a bacteria produced it for you. Okay. Or like when babies are breastfeeding, they receive antibodies from their mother. Okay. And so that's going to allow them to have a passive immunity. This is short term. It does not last for very long because as soon as the antigens die, you can't produce more of them. Okay. Whereas active immunity is kind of like a library. You keep it in there, you stow it for later, and you always have it. Whereas passive immunity is only for a short term. Okay. So these types of immunity are going to be important. Make sure natural is what you're born with. Acquired is going to be either you receiving it through a vaccine or being out in the world and encountering these different antigens. And passive is going to be from another animal or person that produces it. Breastfeeding from a mother, and then you could get a bone marrow transplant from a healthy person to a diseased person to help you out as well. Okay, your immune system is very, very important, so you need to keep it as healthy as possible. So not smoking or doing certain drugs are going to help you. Eating a healthy diet is also going to help you. Maintaining a healthy body weight as well is going to help you. Adequate sleep, I can't stress enough, is going to be super important. Not getting stressed out is super important. Washing your hands to an extent helps. Okay. But if you wash your hands too much, like we're talking like 100 times a day, then you won't be exposed to anything. So your active your active immunity actually doesn't get a chance to actually learn and grow. Okay. Try to minimize the impact. Okay. Yeah. All right, guys. I mean, that's pretty much everything that we got for you. One thing that I do want to mention is allergies. Allergies basically are your body thinking that something that is not an antigen or something that's a disease-causing agent is. Okay. And so your body thinks that pollen from trees and plants or animal dander, so like little hair from cats and dogs or latex or whatever you're looking at, they think it's a virus or a bacteria, but it's really not. Okay. And so that can cause a lot of issues. And your body just goes into hyper overdrive to kill these things and winds up damaging itself. Okay. Awesome. That's all I got for you guys. I'll see you later. Have a great day. Make sure to pause and rewind the video if you need help. Otherwise, I'll see y'all later. Peace.